Japan is a country of many faces. Bright lights shine in big cities like Tokyo, old temples stand quietly in the mountains, people are polite, society is orderly. But beneath this calm surface there are strange stories. These are stories that do not have an ending. They are mysteries that nobody can solve. They are called kamikakushi, spirited away, hidden by the gods. People disappear, they leave everything behind. Their families wait for answers that never come. These tales are whispered in quiet towns and in busy cities alike, a reminder that not everything can be explained by logic or reason. These mysteries are part of Japan's culture, in old folk tales, in modern urban legends. Sometimes a person vanishes from a crowded street. Sometimes a whole family disappears from their home. The police investigate. They search the scene for clues, they talk to friends, they talk to neighbors, but the trail goes cold, as if the person stepped out of our world and into another. The story begins in the year 1980. The place is the northern Japan Alps. This is a beautiful but dangerous area. The mountains are tall. The weather can change very quickly. One of these mountains is called Shirumadake. It is a popular place for hikers, but it demands respect. In the early days of August, a group of 5 people planned to climb this mountain. They were not expert mountaineers. They were employees of a company called Shizuoka Denki, a radio company. They were on a company trip, a chance to bond and enjoy the beauty of nature. The group was made up of 4 men and 1 woman. 4 men, 1 woman. Their names were Masayuki Terabayashi, Kenji Takasugi, Kimiaki Ogasawara, Katsuhiro Nakajima, and the lone woman, Michiko Oikawa. They were young, mostly in their 20s and 30s. They were colleagues and friends. They packed their bags, checked their gear, and set off from their homes in Shizuoka Prefecture. They were excited for their adventure. They planned to follow a well-known route to the summit of Shirumadake and then descend. It was a common plan, one that hundreds of hikers completed safely every year. They had no idea that they were standing at the edge of a mystery. The timeline of events is crucial. It is a map of the group's last known movements. On the morning of August 1st, the 5 hikers started their ascent. They began at a place called Sarukura. They were heading towards a large snow-filled valley known as the Daisuke. This is a famous but tricky part of the climb. They were seen by other hikers along this path. Everyone said they looked happy and well prepared. Later that day they reached a mountain hut called Hakuba Sanso. It is located near the summit of Shirumadake. This was their destination for the first night. They checked in, they ate dinner, they slept there. The hut's records confirmed their stay. They were safe and sound on the night of August 1st. The next morning on August 2nd they set out again. Their plan was to walk along the mountain ridge to another hut, called Babadare. This part of the trail is long but not considered extremely difficult, especially in good weather. Witnesses saw them leave the Hakuba Sanso hut. They were also seen by other hikers along the ridge trail during the day. The last confirmed sighting of the group was in the early afternoon of August 2nd. Another hiker spoke with them briefly. He said they seemed a little tired but were otherwise fine. They were heading in the right direction. After that moment, the trail of the 5 hikers goes cold. They were walking towards the Babadare hut but they never arrived. They vanished somewhere on that mountain ridge. Their families began to worry when they did not return on August 3rd as planned. By August 4th, the company they worked for officially reported them missing. A massive search operation was launched immediately. Police, local mountain rescue teams, volunteers, helicopters flew over the ridges and valleys. Search parties walked every known trail between the 2 mountain huts. They looked for any sign of the missing group, a piece of clothing, a backpack, anything. But they found nothing. It was as if the 5 people had been erased from the mountain. The search for the 5 missing hikers was one of the largest in the region's history. For weeks, hundreds of people searched the vast mountain landscape. But the mountain kept its secrets. Years passed. The case of the missing hikers grew cold, but it was not forgotten. Then, in November 1981, more than a year after the disappearance, a strange discovery was made. A hiker found a backpack in a remote area near the Shirokurasawa River. The location was far from the group's planned route. It was in a difficult, dangerous valley, not a place casual hikers would go. Inside the backpack, police found a driver's license. It belonged to Kenji Takasugi, one of the missing men. This was the first real clue in the entire investigation. The discovery only created more questions. Why was it found so far from their trail? The spot was miles away in the opposite direction of where they were supposed to be heading. To get there, they'd have had to cross a treacherous, unmarked valley. It made no sense for a group of amateur hikers to attempt such a journey. The backpack also contained a radio. It was the same model the group, who worked for a radio company, had with them. The radio was turned on, but the batteries were dead. This bizarre clue led police to renew their search in the Shirokurasawa Valley. Soon, they made more discoveries. They found human bones scattered along the riverbed. They also found more items belonging to the group: a camera, a watch, a notebook. Forensic tests confirmed the bones belonged to 3 of the missing hikers. One of the most persistent and dramatic theories involves North Korea. During the 1970s and 1980s, there were many documented cases of North Korean agents abducting Japanese citizens. These abductions often happened in coastal areas. The victims were taken to North Korea to teach Japanese language and culture to spies. This was a real and terrifying phenomenon that shocked Japan. Some people believe the 5 hikers were not lost in the mountains. They believe they were abducted by North Korean agents who were operating secretly in the region. The supporters of this theory point to the location where the backpack and bones were found. The Shirokurasawa Valley leads down towards the Sea of Japan. The coast is not far from there. The theory suggests that the hikers might have accidentally witnessed something they shouldn't have seen. However, there are many problems with this theory. There is no concrete evidence of North Korean activity in that specific mountain area at that time. Another theory that has been discussed involves a religious cult. In the 1980s and 1990s, Japan saw the rise of many new religious movements, sometimes called Shinshukyo. Some of these groups were peaceful, but others were secretive and controlling. A few became infamous for their extreme beliefs and criminal activities. The most notorious example is Aum Shinrikyo, which carried out a deadly gas attack on the Tokyo subway in 1995. Some investigators and amateur sleuths have wondered if the 5 hikers had an unfortunate encounter with such a group. It suggests the hikers saw something they were not meant to see. Perhaps a secretive cult had a hidden commune or was performing a private ritual in the mountains. The Shirumadake area is remote and offers privacy. If the hikers stumbled upon such a group, they might have been seen as a threat. The simplest theory is often the most likely. This theory proposes that there was no conspiracy, no abduction, no cult. The 5 hikers simply got lost and fell victim to the mountain itself. The weather in the Japanese Alps can be incredibly unpredictable. A sunny day can turn into a storm in a matter of minutes, thick fog, heavy rain, and strong winds. The group was last seen in the afternoon. It is possible that the weather turned bad suddenly. They could have become disoriented in the fog and wandered off the main trail. Instead of staying on the high ridge, they might have decided to descend, hoping to find shelter or an easier path in the valley below. The Shirokurasawa Valley, where the remains were found, is a natural drainage path from the ridge. Today, more than 4 decades later, the 5 friends from Shizuoka Denki walked into the mountains. The case remains officially unsolved. The discovery of the 3 bodies provided a partial answer, but it did not bring closure. It only deepened the mystery. The families of the 2 men whose remains were never found are still waiting. They live in a permanent state of uncertainty. For the police, the file remains open, a cold case that serves as a frustrating reminder of the limits of investigation when faced with the power of nature and the strangeness of human events. The impact of the Shirumadake disappearance has been long-lasting. A modern legend in Japan, a cautionary tale told among hikers, a subject of endless debate on internet forums. It represents a deep-seated fear, the idea that you can follow all the rules, be prepared, and still be swallowed by the unknown.